Karoline Leavitt accidentally told the truth at a press briefing. I know it's rare. I know it's uncommon. Well, it was accidental. She meant something very different. And the reactions to this widespread ridicule of Karoline Leavitt all over social media. This is one of the funniest unintentionally true statements she's ever made. She goes, there is so much fake news being pumped out of the White House every day. And of course, we all react to that by saying, yes, Karoline, and you're pumping out most of it. Take a listen to this.
Room who do reach out for comment, who try to get things right, and there are some that remain. But overwhelmingly, the fake news that we see pumped out of this building on a day-to-day basis, it's honestly overwhelming to keep up with it all and to constantly have to defend against these fake news and these attacks.
Yeah. You know, like, for example, when the Washington Post wrote that the Trump administration did a second bombing of survivors off the coast of Venezuela, which is a war crime. And then the administration started pumping out all of Thanksgiving weekend. That's a lie. It's fake news. It didn't happen. And then yesterday they go, yeah, it did happen and it's legal and it was awesome. It's just hard to keep up with all of the pumping out of fake news. She actually told the truth. It is overwhelming and difficult to keep up with. Now, there is a question as to the broader strategy, if you can even really call it that, of the Trump administration in targeting drug dealers in other countries and whether that means you go after the president or you don't. One of the things that's really interesting is that on the one hand, Donald Trump has pardoned the former Honduran president for alleged involvement in the drug trade, but says that he is going to try to go after Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela for involvement in the same, pardoning one, going after the other. How does that make sense? Karoline Leavitt's ready for that. She says it's cherry picking.
Question. The president several days ago said it was his intention to pardon the former president of Honduras, who was a convicted drug trafficker. And yesterday on Air Force One, the president said that if someone sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life. How is that different than what the administration is accusing Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro?
You're cherry picking the president's statement a little bit yesterday, as he also said yesterday the people of Honduras have highlighted to him how the former president Hernandez was set up. This was a clear Biden over prosecution. He was the president of this country. He was in the opposition party. He was opposed to the values of the previous administration, and they charged him because he was president of Honduras. There were some other egregious facts that came out during this trial, and I would encourage you to report on them. His court-appointed lawyer was only given 3 weeks to prepare for trial. He shared that his conviction was lawfare by the leftist party, who, quote, struck a deal with the Biden-Harris administration. Hernandez has highlighted there was virtually no independent evidence presented, and many of his conviction was based on testimony from many admitted criminals who hoped that cooperating would reduce their own penalties. So,
yeah. Listen, this is a disservice to the American people. All of these topics touch on matters of extraordinary importance. When we talk about war crimes, for example, or in this case, there is serious international law and legal theory that goes to addressing when can you say that the president of a country is materially involved in some criminal activity that is taking place, and when can't you? And does knowingly looking away count? Or does simply not knowing make you guilty of some kind of negligence? Or like, the point is, if these were serious people and they had serious people advising them, there would be an interesting and consequential conversation here as to, well, what is the difference between saying the Honduran president was over prosecuted, but we're going to go after Maduro for the exact same thing? Okay, well, why? What are the facts that you believe are dispositive in adjudicating that sort of conclusion? It's just Karoline reading a prepared statement, and that's it. One other thing that I think is relevant to mention, part of what is being said as to why Trump pardoned Hernandez is that it was a politically motivated prosecution in which Biden was involved. Well, if that's the case, how is this not politically motivated, that Donald Trump has now set his sights and his ire on Nicolas Maduro for obvious political reasons. Isn't it an example of political motivation? Oh no, that just let me read my talking points off of my piece of paper. We all have to pretend that this is sort of normal and that these are the sorts of statements that are just clarifying relatively benign matters. But this is really globally disgusting stuff. I mean, Hernandez was indicted by a grand jury, convicted by a jury that heard all evidence and legal defenses, sentenced, but then all of a sudden Trump goes, no, it was over prosecution and that's it, and politically motivated. But Maduro, that's who we really have to go after. And where I land is, for all the talk about restoring, law and order and the rule of law, they don't give a damn about it. All they care about is what's politically advantageous at the time. And unfortunately, it seems to conflict with everything that's happening 6 months before, 6 months after. But the Republican Party doesn't care. If your voters don't care about consistency, I was talking about this with someone else about, like, when they appear on shows with Republicans, they go, there was an era where pointing out an incredible double standard or a hypocrisy would actually get these Republicans to stop and think and go, you know what, I'm not being consistent. Let me clarify, let me modify, let me adjust. They don't care anymore. They don't care about consistency and the double standards because there's no downside to it. Just say whatever when it's convenient and take the opposite position when it's not. Your voters aren't going to punish you for it. So why would you care? And the answer is they don't. A lot of people hit this point in December and realize I still need to find a thoughtful, genuine gift for someone on my list. And quickly, if that is you, Aura Frames can really help you out. Our sponsor, Aura, makes premium digital frames that beautifully display photos and videos. I've been using one myself for years. I've given Aura frames to my mom. I've given them to my dad, so many people. I preloaded them with baby photos and they love it because they turn it on the first time and the pictures are there. Aura makes it really easy, not only with the preloading of photos, but you can keep adding them throughout the year with the app. There is plenty of time to get an Aura frame shipped before Christmas, and you'll get $35 off their best-selling Carver mat frames when you go to auraframes.com and use the code Pakman at checkout. The link is in the description.